Welcome back to BazookaTraining.com. Today's episode is powered by Hayabusa. It's all about surviving if you're rocked and hurt in a fight. All right, in today's episode, we're talking about surviving when you get rocked or hurt in a fight. Now, we're going to talk about some of the normal reactions that happen when you get rocked. And usually what happens, you get rocked, you want to get into this shell up position, all right? So, I'm going to start with point number one as try not to shell. And I use the word try not to because even when you think about getting hurt, it's a natural reaction. So when you get hit in the face, you want to cover up and shell up. Now, as a fighter who's a pressure fighter, I want people to shell up. And when I get them to shell up, and that's when I create different attacks. I can hit the body, I can create angles, and I could really punish my opponent for shelling up. So the ideal is do not shell up if you're hurt, okay? So a lot of finishes when you watch the UFC or big level kickboxing, right? What happens is someone's hurt, they go against the ropes or the cage and they shell up, and that's when their opponent rips uppercut, hits the bodies, they can get hit with elbows. Being shelled up is the worst position you can be in fighting, okay? Because in that way, one, you can't even throw offense at this point because you're down and you can't look at your opponent and they can just pick you apart, right? And if I'm fighting someone or if you see someone fighting, you can usually see who's the more experienced fighter when that time comes. Now, the biggest mistake a lot of people make, and it's one of my biggest frustrations, is when you do have someone hurt and shelled up, right? A lot of fighters just waste so much energy punching the elbows, punching the arms, when you could take little breaks, look for an uppercut, crack the body, all right? So that's where I get frustrated, but if you're hurt, don't shell up. That is the number one thing you do not want to do. Do not shell up. Now, the second thing is, again, try, I'm going to use the word try, right, to move your feet. You don't want to be stationary. Now, if it's stationary, just like being shelled up, I can't move, I can't see. So when you're hurt, try to get as much distance as you can. The more distance you have, the more time you can kind of recover and try to breathe as best as you can, okay? So, one, don't shell up. Two, if you can, try to move your feet. Moving your feet, moving target, harder to hit, and this way they keep chasing you. Now, a good fighter is going to track you, try to put you in the corners, or try to stop you as much as they can, but to at least survive, keep moving your feet as best as possible, okay? Now, number three, I know this is a little harder, but trying to create feints, right? If I'm moving and I'm hurt, if I just create some sort of feint, at least it might get my opponent to slow down for that split second. If I'm in this defensive position, I'm no threat with my hands pinned on my head and my body language here. But at least if I'm hurt and I have that distance control, if I can throw a little feint that way, it might get my opponent to react. And it's like, okay, he's recovered. So the feint might give you the illusion that you are safe and you're there. And a lot of times fighter instincts will come out when you're hurt, and a lot of times you'll sit there and throw back, which sometimes can be a mistake, right? Some guys get hurt, they'll stay stationary, and then against the cage of the ropes, you start seeing them wanting to go out on their shield that way, right? Ideally, we don't want to go out on a shield. We want to be smart and use our IQ, right? So don't shell up, move your feet, right? And then create those feints when you have the distance. Now, the last point, number four, I'm going to tell you is the most important one you can do, and that is using the clinch, all right? Now, easier said than done, but when you practice a lot of times catching punches in mid-range, you're a little bit more comfortable doing it. Now, if I'm ever backed up against the ropes, whether I'm tired or hurt, the punches, I'm trying to catch the punches to be able to work my way in. I might try to ideally use a hook. If a big power hook comes, I can kind of control the hook, get inside and tie them up and at least get to breathe. Hold on as long as I can, get the referee to break us up. And then this way, with the break up, guess what I do? I move my feet again. I create more distance, and I try to use my feints to keep them off as best as I can. Now, even when I have that space and I'm feinting, if I want to do something, I try to throw at least a front kick or something, long tactics to go in. The big mistake is letting your fighter mentality come out and want to come out there and throw big punches back. I'm guilty of that myself. Too many times when I get hit and rocked, I want to bring it back. I want to give it back. And when the best strategy could be to take your time, relax, spread your feet, and kind of do those 4 different strategies that I told you about. All right, so quick recap. Getting hurt, it's inevitable. A lot of times you want to get out of the fight without getting hurt. But even those moments where you get rocked slightly, could even be a jab sometimes, catches you, you feel a little Bambi-legged. At this point, start moving your feet. Take away that fighter instinct to come back because you might get tagged again. At this point, the multiple blows is what's going to kind of slow you down. So you get hit once, reset your feet. Circle around, don't shell up, move, okay? Now, feint, create long options, and ideally, use the clinch. I know we don't like to go there. It slows the fight down, but hey, it's a very good strategy to survive when you're hurt. Now, a lot of people use it as a tactic, right? Yes, clinch fighters are great. They can sit in there, and it might have to change things. If I'm fighting someone who's really great in a clinch, and they maybe hurt me in the clinch, then the strategies might change. But you still have the option to move your feet, kind of create your distance, and feint on the outside. All right? So I hope you learned a lot from today's episode here. Now, make sure you, 1, support the channel sponsor, Hayabusa, by going to HayabusaFight.com. We have perfect sports nutrition. Use the code Bazooka20 to get 20% off your order. And we have BazookaTraining.com for only $9.99 US per month. You get me as your coach. And every Monday, you get 4 brand new videos. You got home training drills, bag work, tutorials, sparring drills, every single Monday. Plus, the channel's been going for a while, so now we have an archive of over 100 different training videos that you can kind of select. You want to work your boxing, your kicks, your knees, your fights concepts, your combinations. You can kind of select the type of workouts and the things you want to learn. All right? Hope you enjoyed today's episode. We'll see you next time here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Welcome to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA online training. I'm Bazooka Joe Valtellini, the owner here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Over the past year, I've designed and created a website to teach Bazooka curriculum at home and across the world. The purpose of this website is for you to, 1, hit your fitness and health goals, all while learning world-class martial arts instruction from me. The beautiful thing about this website, it's geared for all levels. So if you're learning martial arts for the first time as a beginner, we help you progress into the bigger stages. And if you're a pro fighter, guess what? We have different fight concepts for you to improve your tool set and your skills in the ring or cage. As the fastest rising kickboxing world champion and a lifelong martial artist with over 30 years of experience, I've been able to combine my passion for martial arts and teaching to create this website. This website's going to give you some of the tricks, secrets, and inside look at some of the training I use to win my world title. Once you subscribe to this site, you're going to be getting weekly training videos and tutorials that you can do from anywhere. The sections are broken up into 3 parts. The first is bag workout. So if you have a bag at home or at your gym, you can use these workouts to supplement your training. The second is at-home workouts. A lot of us don't have the room for a bag or a bag in general, so these workouts are for no equipment needed and you can do them anywhere. And finally, the tutorial section. If you're having any problems with a specific technique or fight concept that's covered in any of the workouts, go to the tutorial section, learn the technique, and then go back to the workout, and this time, do it with proper technique. One of the added benefits once you subscribe is the forums section, where you can get a more personalized experience where you can ask questions and I'll be able to go in there and answer them. It's all about building a team and a community of martial artists helping each other grow. So subscribe now to get access to all the videos plus more so you can be part of the squad here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA.